Former Chief Justice Benjamin Odochi calls for respect of and protection of the Constitution. President Museveni has emphasized consolidating the available peace and security in the country. NUP candidate Chagulanyi promises Kasanda to benefit directly from the district's gold mining, while Kampala Lord Mayor Arias Lukwago calls for the arrest and prosecution of businessman Micheal.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Thank you so much for joining in. My name is Micheal. Lukomwa. Elizabeth Nakakoni joins in for sign language interpretation. Former Chief Justice Benjamin Odochi has said that the amendment of the Constitution should be considerate to ensure it is not distorted. Odochi was officiating at a tree planting ceremony at the Constitutional Square to symbolize the principles and values enshrined in the Constitution 30 years since its existence. He also called for viable institutions that will bring light into the Constitution rather than abusing the efforts of the framers.
In order to symbolize the strength, resilience, and growth reflecting the principles and values enshrined in the Constitution of Uganda, stakeholders led by the former Chief Justice Benjamin Odochi visited again this Constitutional Square 30 years since the promulgation of the 1995 Constitution.
This square I have got a lot of history for this square.
The former Chief Justice recounts the making of the 1995 Constitution, of which he was part of the Constitutional Review Commission.
We did it was quite a challenge for some of us, but our vision was that we must build a better Uganda.
Odochi applauds efforts done in the implementation of the Constitution, saying more is needed in order not to repeat the past mistakes in upholding the Constitution.
Yes, you need a constitutional review, not talk from the air. This provision was amended. This provision is not good. There are many provisions in the Constitution which you may need to look at afresh, because now you have had 30 years of experience, and experience is the best teacher.
Odochi calls for establishing viable institutions to protect the Constitution.
Yeah, you must strengthen these political institutions. Otherwise, the Constitution will hang in the air. And nobody will blame me because I did my job. If you don't implement it, and require government to abide by the law and prevent absolute power.
Different stakeholders and the civil society organizations attended the event. The question of who manipulates and disrespects the integrity of the Constitution has since been left to the people of Uganda.
The key article of power belongs to the people, because the people are not protected to engage in their governance, the political rights, the freedom of citizens to express themselves, freedom of political parties to mobilize, and that's the biggest challenge. The other second challenge is lack of enough awareness to create a critical mass of citizens that know the Constitution, understand the Constitution, and can defend it.
So it's really about, I think, selfish needs and the greed for power. People who feel they should be in charge, they should be above others and above the law, which is wrong. And I believe also the challenge is we have this information symmetry. Most people do not understand what is behind the Constitution, why we even had the Constitution in the first place.
As young people, we need to live by these principles of constitutionalism. Every time we choose integrity over shortcuts, every time we choose equality and democracy as young people and accountability, we speak up for the Constitution and its values.
The 1995 Constitution will be 30 years on Wednesday, 8th October 2025. Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
All the bad things that you are saying about anybody.
Justice Benjamin Odochi, former Chief Justice. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has emphasized consolidating the available peace and security in the country, embracing wealth creation as well as shunning sectarian politics. Museveni, the NRM presidential candidate, was campaigning in Oyam district, responding to the local demands. He pledged to carve a new district of Abar from Oyam if re-elected president of Uganda.
This is President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's seventh-day campaign rally in Rango sub-region. This has been convened at Boma Grounds in Oyam district. Museveni has been in Rango since last week on Wednesday, 1st October 2025.
And under your leadership, you have been able to achieve three basic and fundamental points in the spirit of the Holy Trinity. You have achieved peace, that is God the Father to us from northern Uganda. You have brought development, that is God the Son to us in northern Uganda. Now you have introduced wealth creation initiatives, that is God, the Holy Spirit.
Addressing the president, local leaders appealed for more development programs within their district.
When you ask them that, what do you want me to do for you? You ask anybody at random, they will say, we want a better district.
I stop the road.
Yes, Your Excellency.
Those who say, you vote and say you stop the road. Okay, I will surrender for the district.
Although Oyam has been in the past in the hands of UPC, NRM seems to be capturing the ground.
At my age, 50 years down the road, I know we have 8 candidates who have registered to contest. But I want you to leave this great district without any doubt in your mind.
Ongom did not move alone, but rather came with other senior UPC leaders, including those from the FDC.
That me, Chris Ongom, I pledge my commitment to ensure, as a leader of Uganda People Congress, I will commit to ensure you get my vote and the votes of my family and the votes of those who will believe in my statement.
We don't believe in the politics of sectarianism, of religion, of tribe, of discriminating against women or neglecting children. That's how we have been able to build a national political party, the NRM.
According to the president, the presence of peace has steered Uganda to greater heights.
Before the Europeans came, this area was full of tribal wars. War between Buganda, Bunyoro, Nkore, Rwanda, and so on. After independence, the wars resumed. So this is the first time we have had peace in this long time, and also been able to control the cattle rustlers from Karamoja.
With the district having 17 health center frees covering 16 sub-counties, 60 government primary schools and 10 secondary schools, Museveni says in the coming term of office, he will double the efforts towards service delivery.
Now, in the coming government, which you have pledged to support us achieve, we are going to make sure that all the parishes have government primary schools, and then that all the sub-counties have got the one which does not have a secondary school has a secondary school.
The president says although he has been at the forefront of preaching wealth creation, the sad part of the story is that some individuals continue distorting his message.
Now, unfortunately, some people have not got this message. That's why we still have poverty in Uganda. But fortunately, there are people who have listened.
He further emphasized the preservation of wetlands.
Don't misuse the wetlands. The government is coming with a big plan to dig fish ponds for the nearby communities. Fish pond needs a bit of money, you will not do it on your own. we shall do it for you.
The afternoon downpour did not stop President Yoweri Museveni from addressing the most cheering group of Ugandans supporting his candidacy. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
In the meantime, leaders of Lango sub-region have appealed to President Yoweri Museveni that they want continuous development, which they are sure will come from the NRM government. They made the appeal as the NRM presidential candidate, President Yoweri Museveni, campaigned in Oyam district.
Leaders in Oyam district have spoken with the same voice with regard to NRM support. Both UPC and NRM are affirming support for President Museveni.
So for me, from where I sit at the Peace and Security Council of the African Union, I think Uganda is an island of peace in the region. And it doesn't come easy. It has been a lot of work and under the leadership of the president.
Some of the beneficiaries of this peace are the members of the Jua Kali, an initiative by the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development.
Under Jua Kali, we have managed to add into what we have received other things that is supporting the group, and the money that we are giving out from the things that are being hired from the group, the members are able to learn out within themselves.
That one is enabling us to give loan to our group members, to pay school fees for their children, and we are also able to cater for their health. When any child got sick, we give financial support like money for treating malaria and other sicknesses.
They pledged to vote President Museveni back into government.
His Excellency the President of Uganda, we wish you well, and we ask the Almighty God to bless you, give you more and more years still to lead Uganda, because you have done a lot to eradicate poverty in Uganda. You have made Uganda people to live a sustainable life.
Leaders share a similar point of view.
We have got the report that says in the last results outed, Oyam was ranked number 4 in the whole country for a successful performance in PDM. Actually, it is number 1 in the north. So that shows you that the people of Oyam understood what PDM was meant for.
Why should Oyam this time vote NRM overwhelmingly? I mean, look at the crowd. There is already a lot of hope and excitement in the air with the new programs of protecting the gains and also the program of increasing household income that the people have seen firsthand with the distribution of maize across the district that I did.
UPC and other opposition politicians are defecting to the ruling party. So, political favor seems to be on NRM.
President Yoweri Museveni, in other news, met the Lango Paramount Chief Engineer Dr. Micheal Moses Odongo Okune and clan leaders at State House in Entebbe. The discussions focused on promoting culture, language, education, health, and transforming society through wealth creation and peace building.
President Museveni warmly welcomed the cultural delegation, saying he had chosen to meet them despite his busy schedule. He urged the leaders to take a more active role in preserving and promoting the Lango language and culture, noting that while English and Swahili serve as national and regional languages, the promotion of local languages is largely left to cultural institutions.
We restored cultural leadership. In the view of the NRM, we didn't see the incompatibility between culture and modern government, if each one does their work properly.
He pointed out gaps in the education system regarding vernacular, teaching and encouraged cultural leaders to bridge these gaps as local languages were no longer being effectively taught in schools.
You have the culture. Take for instance, the African societies are very strong because of their ancient cultures. One of them, the exogamous nature of our tribes. Exogamy means when you marry outside your clan. You don't marry within the clan. When you marry within the clan, they call it endogamy. Many of the tribes of Uganda are exogamous. But who is following it up? I don't think even the bishops and the reverends and the sheikhs, I don't think they are following it very closely.
The president also called on the leaders to promote positive cultural practices while auditing and abandoning those that undermine development, especially those affecting women's rights.
We have a strong society. If you audit the old culture, remove the irrational ones and maintain the rational and correct ones.
On economic transformation, President Museveni urged the people of Lango to embrace modern money-based enterprises suited to their land. The president also thanked the people of Lango for their support during his campaigns in the region. In response, the Lango Paramount Chief, His Highness Odongo Okune, commended President Museveni for bringing peace and security to the sub-region. He credited the government for ending state-inspired violence of the 1970s and 80s, as well as insurgencies like those of Joseph Kony and Alice Lakwena, which had caused widespread death and displacement.
We should promote growing these two crops, cash crops in Lango, but without neglecting food crops, so that we prevent hunger and malnutrition from coming up.
Okune also thanked the president for the various wealth creation programs in Lango, which he said have empowered communities to develop themselves. Brian Tumwinebiaruhanga.
Talking to us, he said he's the only clan leader.
The Alliance for National Transformation presidential candidate General Mugisha Muntu has engaged with residents and spread his vision for Uganda's development. Muntu, crisscrossing the western part of the country, is currently traversing Isingiro district to rally support for his presidential bid.
The Alliance for National Transformation presidential candidate is currently traversing Isingiro district, rallying support for his presidential bid. At Kabelebele Town Council, Muntu emphasized teachers' welfare, land-related issues and restocking health services as key issues that need address. Isingiro district is home to a significant number of refugees, with approximately 17,000 refugees at Nyakiva refugee settlement, with host community lacking basic necessities.
General Muntu kuza kufuna na izina yonka general jumaisa kuyine byarabero akarabo mutanuru kuza kuteka movement eje emkuteka teka ngo murumu kunu yani yebaru
komu twakwa na manyango kamhakaru kandi yatakozeta yatakozera karuno zakamwima na Rwanda munonga kurengu ya kuletera ohereza ngobunda takija okamwima karu.
Muntu also promised to resolve land disputes. A message resonates with the residents of Isingiro.
Omuntu yakuzita akazo mu town kan town atini ngomuru nichiruka mwebizo mwiha kandi echo tino turachebere.
He also campaigned in Nyakitunda, Chikagati, Endizi, Nyamuyanja and Ruhira, where he urged supporters to shun corrupt leaders and usher in the ANT government.
ekiri kuchira echobero ine hatinga president weha kan kwenkani mugambiramazi utine chitinisa cha office konka cyo kugamba abantu bachikura terror cyo nabere nintegera General Museveni ngo ahumure abaze kuhaburi hanga habahizire abantu ombigere bye baba president bakashobi ahaburi yangara mukurate rahabure ogoro kwenda kwabsiha
General Muntu proceeded to Omuchitaza, Lugaga, and held a bigger rally in the evening at Kabindo Town Council. General Muntu called for cooperation among opposition leaders to achieve democratic change and retire General Kaguta Museveni peacefully. Haruna Mutesasira, reporting for UBS News in Isinjiro District.
And the National Unity Platform candidate Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu has promised residents of Kasanda district that his government will construct all major roads in the area and ensure that locals benefit directly from the district's gold mining activities. Speaking at a campaign rally in Kasanda and Mubende districts, Kyagulanyi condemned the ongoing cases of land grabbing and vowed to arrest those responsible and return the land to the rightful owners.
NUP supporters held rallies across Kasanda district expressing support for Kyagulanyi's presidential bid. In Kasanda Trading Center, residents and traders seemed excited. They cheered as Kyagulanyi's convoy passed by. Many traders were making brisk business, selling items branded with Kyagulanyi's image and campaign colors. At every stop, Kyagulanyi addressed roadside gatherings and asked to be voted to lead Uganda, promising to construct better roads and improve service delivery. Supporters at various parts of Kasanda chanted NUP slogans. Kyagulanyi urging voters to support him and all NUP flag bearers. At Kagugube Local Stadium in Kasanda, where they held a main rally, Kyagulanyi first entertained the crowd by performing alongside his longtime music partner, Nubian Lee. Leaders from Kasanda, including Kasanda South Member of Parliament, Kawiye Frank, raised concerns about persistent land grabbing and poor infrastructure in the area. On his part, NUP President Robert Kyagulanyi promised that once elected, his government will construct proper roads across Kasanda and ensure local communities benefit from gold mining. He also pledged to reduce government expenditure and the size of the cabinet. During the rally, Kyagulanyi was symbolically handed the national flag, a spear and a shield, gifts from local leaders to signify victory and protection. After the event, Kyagulanyi proceeded to Mubende district for another campaign rally.
And the FDC candidate Nathan Nandala Mafabi has assured the people of Kenjojo that he will ensure that laws that concern the people work well. While addressing the people in Kenjojo town, Mafabi said his government will not have terms like political prisoners because no people without any case will be imprisoned.
The vehicle in the convoy of the FDC presidential candidate Nathan Nandala Mafabi went through difficult maneuvering through the rugged Maram roads from the Nyaibare Town Council to Mbale Town Council, campaigning after it rained as they were too slippery.
Around the mountainous areas to come here, and the roads are generally impassable.
The candidate failed to hold a rally in Nyaibale because before he would speak, it started raining. At Mbale Town Council in Chenjojo and Chenjojo Town, Mafabi discovered that these grow coffee and maize, however, sell the crops at giveaway price because they use middlemen.
Ebintu bino mu kifo ky'okufunamu ssente kati ssente zadda ku mu bantu batono abali wakati w'abalimi n'egye batunda ki ebintu ebyo. Ky'oba olaba abalimi baffe obuwavu bugenda kubaata lw'ensonga nti tebafuna ssente ezikola ki ezimala. Uganda y'abalimi kye tugenda okukola nti tuteeke essira mu by'obulimi. Ebyobulimi okusooka tugenda kuteekamu ssente kumi ku kikumi mu bajeti yaffe bigendemu mu ki mu byobulimi. Kati bw'obanga omaze okulima ebintu byo olina okufuna w'obiteeka ate ofuna akatale. Gavumenti erina okunoonyera akatale erabe nti ebintu bye byolimye ofuna ssente oteeke mu ki mu nsawo.
The team reached Chenjojo town amidst tight security who were guiding them on where to park and hold their rally. Here, Mafabi promised to ensure that laws concerning people work.
The debt that we have as Uganda, what plans or what avenues do you have really to ensure that my great-grandchildren have not suffered?
Nabo bebasiba twagala amateeka agakwata ku bantu gaffe nga gakola bulungi. Nze njagala kubabuulira sijja kuleka abantu bebasibye bebayita political prisoners byobufuzi obyo batute munda tikigenda okubeerawo. Naye njagala okusigibwa abali n'omusango tumutwale mu kooti yewozeko tulabe kyali. Naye kye bakola simbiriko obuyinza. Naye bwenaaba n'obuyinza bino byonna bijja kuba byangu bebasibira bwerere balina okuva mu makomera babeetambulenga lunaku ngafa abantu.
The candidate has held rallies in Kibale, Chenjojo, and expected to hold the main rally in Kagadi district.
Kampala Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago has called for the immediate arrest and prosecution of city businessman Hamis Chigundu of Ham Enterprises for allegedly violating environmental laws. Lukwago says Chigundu was directed to halt all developments on the natural drainage channel due to absence of a comprehensive plan and an environment impact assessment report.
On 19th August, Speaker of Parliament Anita Mong constituted a fact-finding team to investigate concerns surrounding developments on the Nachivua drainage channel. This followed a presidential directive issued on 2nd August 2025. The National Environment Management Authority had requested Ham Enterprises to provide all necessary documentation regarding the project, although the company did not comply. Meanwhile, heavy rains yesterday lasting just 1 hour left much of Kampala submerged, with businesses brought to a standstill. In response, Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago warns that the city risks even greater disaster, insisting that the developments Chigundu is pursuing are destroying the city.
Can you imagine this kind of impunity and arrogance? You embark on a project of that nature over our trust property, the drainage channel, without even having the audacity, the courtesy of filing or lodging an application for approval of the plan.
The Lord Mayor maintains that protecting Kampala from flooding must take precedence over unregulated development.
And this is why we have asked management, please, if we are to remain relevant as an institution of KCC, we must crack the whip. We must take action against this kind of impunity being perpetrated by him. If a notice was issued to him way back in August to halt whatever he was doing there, and he has frowned upon that notice, he's continuing with his illegal construction, why not take the necessary steps to have him arrested and prosecuted.
KCCA spokesperson Daniel Nwabine clarified that Ham Enterprises only has conditional approval, which requires fulfilling key requirements such as ensuring proper water flow.
Ham Enterprises has the conditional approval for the development that is ongoing. So he has to fulfill conditions within the permit, like ensuring the bridges are there, the access is there, the water flow is not.
He says all developers must meet conditions before being allowed to continue with any construction.
Establish the actual cause of the stagnation. I wouldn't call it flooding because it was for about 10 to 15 minutes, the stagnation that was there. We are yet to establish what exactly caused that. If it is the construction, then we have to get appropriate measures to ensure this does not happen again. But if it is not, then we also have to devise means of ensuring that the water moves smoothly, especially now that we're in the rainy season.
Meanwhile, unknown persons stormed KCCA headquarters, accusing Lord Mayor Lukomwa of opposing development. A scuffle broke out, although security quickly intervened and threw out the intruders. Shaidat Nasaku, UBC News.
We thank you so much for watching. Let's take a short break. On return, we'll have more.
Big thing about the MTN Super. Wali yakapia musite wali yakapia. MTN kabo de super mustairo mpia. Then you kabo de smartphone nevi akabibiona. MTN kabo de super mustairo mpia. Then you kabo de smartphone nevi akabibiona.
Get the new Kabode Super smartphone and enjoy 16 GB free. Start with a deposit of only 45,000 Uganda shillings and pay the rest in daily installments of less than 1K. You can also make weekly and monthly installments. Together, our vibes are unstoppable. Terms and conditions apply. MTN. MTN is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
Two nations, one destination. The Consulate General of Uganda in Mombasa presents the 4th Uganda-Kenya Coast Tourism Conference and Exhibition, a celebration of the intermarriage of tourism between Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, and Kenya, the Pride of Africa. Discover Uganda's adventure, from gorilla trekking and whitewater rafting to Kenya's rich wildlife and world-famous beaches. Delegates from Uganda will enjoy an exclusive fam trip to Kenyan coast from the 22nd to the 26th of October. Even tee off at the golf tournament at Vipingo Ridge on the 25th October, followed by the conference on the 27th to the 28th of October at Ocean Beach Resort and Spa in Malindi. Register today on our website www.thetourismconference.org. Join us and be part of the future where Uganda meets Kenya and Africa shines brighter.
Abayi, omanyi mmaze emyaka kumpi ananga nsiga langi naye nga langi ya Global gye nkyasinze okwesiga. Ekisooka ekirungi buli musiiza akimanyi nti undercoat wa Global gwe tutandisa. Kati awo oba oyagala okusiga ekizimbe kinyirira obulungi olina okweyongera ng'okozesa langi ya Global. Ntandika ne silk vinyl ng'asiiga munda, ate bwe kituuka ku siiringi ne nkozesa Global Mat. Yo wabweru nkozesa Global Weather Coat Emulsion etatya mbeera ya budde eduduma era ennyumba yo tesobola kuyubukayubuka. Ng'omugagga akikonamu anti entemagana okukira mukene. Awo omugagga wantwalira ku sayiti ya mugagga munne ne mugagga munne n'antwala ewa mugagga munne. Kati ono mugagga munnaabwe gye yanzija okukola akalango ng'alaba kiri ku buzuuli.
Global Paint, a reliable product.
UBC News Tonight, we thank you so much for watching and welcome back from the break. Now, in our coverage on political events prior to the independence in 1962, as Uganda prepares to celebrate the 63rd anniversary of the independence this Thursday, Timothy Sibasi, in part 2 of our independence series, looks at the formation of political parties in Uganda from 1950-1962, when Uganda attained her independence on the 9th of October, and the pitfalls of the parties that formed the post-independent multi-party politics. Associate Professor Gerard Barebe and lecturer of international contemporary politics at the University of New York examines the formation of the Uganda National Congress and its pitfalls that gave birth to a splinter party, the Democratic Party, and why the DP has failed to transcend to power since the 1960s to date.
The first political party in Uganda was formed in 1952, the Uganda National Congress. This party, by independence, would have developed into a national political movement, dominating the politics of Uganda like in other colonial countries like Tanganyika, but had fundamental weaknesses like lack of strong, united and inspiring leadership with a clear vision for stable and prosperous Uganda. However, by independence, UNC had broken up and 3 major parties had developed in its places: DP, UPC and KY. The first president of UNC was Ignatius Musazi. There are several pitfalls to explain its crumble.
First of all, religion. That's why the disagreement between the Catholics and the Protestants inside that party, with each group breaking up, Catholics forming the Democratic Party and Protestants forming the Uganda People's Congress.
Despite of the breakdown based on religious, there was also the Buganda question, piloted by Baganda royalists within UNC. These overshadowed what would be the nationalistic agenda of UNC.
Within the Uganda National Congress, there were 3 main disagreements. One, the Catholics; second, the Protestants; but third, the Uganda royalists. So the formation of Kabaka Yeka was first and foremost to cater for the interest of Uganda.
During the constitutional changes, the UNC had become so unpopular that out of the 81 elected members in the National Assembly, UNC had only 1 representative.
They wanted really to form a national party that would be dominant, that would dominate Uganda's politics in the next 5 to 50 to probably decades. But what they did not know was that Uganda was quite a very different society. Uganda was an amalgamation of different communities together, different kingdoms together, but all these communities and all these kingdoms that you can explain had serious political interests.
The party members such as Apollo Milton Obote, B.K. Kuria, J.W. Kiwanuka and A.K. Mayanja, whose party later led Uganda to independence, drew their inspiration from Musazi's UNC.
Uganda is born again, free and independent.
Though the exit of UNC gave birth to a strong Democratic Party in 1954 under Matayo Mugwanya as first President General, it is said at its inception it was exclusively Roman Catholic in its inspiration and membership against the Protestant hegemony in politics.
And you could argue that maybe was Britain having a hand in this disagreement that emerged between the Catholics and the Protestants within the post-independence Ugandan politics? Probably yes. But I would argue that you cannot rule that one out, especially given that some of these leaders were actually British educated.
The Democratic Party had a genuine grievance against discrimination. The Catholics alleged that they were being discriminated against appointments for public offices.
That was actually the main driving force that led to the formation of the Democratic Party. Now, the Democratic Party actually has maintained its I would say, historical has roots. It still remains largely a Catholic party. And maybe with recently, I would say, and surprisingly, there is no much effort within the Democratic Party to avoid that.
However, outside Buganda, the general belief was that the Catholics cannot rule. This perception still lingers on the minds of many. However, President Museveni is gradually demystifying the belief in his all-inclusive working methodology.
We have had a Protestant head of state, I mean, for how many years now? Part of it is because you wonder why. Why is it difficult to have a Catholic as the head of state? But what probably President Museveni has realized is that I need to handle this question. That's why he has made his vice president for so many years. Most of his appointees as vice presidents have been Catholics, because he wants to balance this Protestant-Catholic question.
Whereas the Democratic Party and the Catholics played a significant role in fighting communism in the Uganda National Congress,
it has been on a downside decline. It has been declining over time. And right now I think they have like 9 members of parliament, and now they cannot produce a leader or maybe a presidential candidate that can attract votes from other regions of the country. That's why I'm saying, as a party, it needs to evaluate itself and think more towards creating a national outlook. The party should reflect the national outlook.
Despite its challenges, it will always be remembered for its belief in the rule of law and the concrete proposals for constitutionalism and independence.
The problem with the DP is a problem of continuity, like I've said to you. After its first leaders, the initial leaders who formed the party, although the party has remained, it has failed to attract real, genuine leaders who are with nationalistic outlook.
The second episode on the formation of political parties in Uganda from 1950s to 1962 continues tomorrow with another in-depth analysis on the Progressive Party of 1955, Uganda People's Union of 1959, Uganda People's Congress in 1961, and its alliance with Kabaka Yeka, a year to independence, in 1961, and the intentions of that alliance. Timothy Sibasi, UBC.
At the onset towards independence, Uganda had the 1962 constitution, which was later abrogated in 1966, leading to the 1967 constitution. But in 1971, when Milton Obote was overthrown, Idi Amin Dada suspended the 1967 constitution and ruled Uganda by decree, reducing Uganda's constitutionalism and rule of law. For 24 years, Uganda had no constitution until 1995, but the late James Wapakabulo, I beg your pardon, for 24 years, Uganda had no constitution until 1995. For 24 years, Uganda had no constitution until 1995. But the late James Wapakabulo chaired the Constituent Assembly, a process that produced Uganda's 1995 constitution. Our reporter Daniel Mugoya tells us about an icon who left a landmark trail in Uganda's political journey.
To name this place Constitution Square.
This YouTube video by veteran journalist Bart Kakoza captures the moment that produced Uganda's constitution on 8th October 1995.
My brother. Congratulations. New constitution. Yes, my neighbor. Yes, Major.
Since the abrogation of the 1962 constitution by then Prime Minister Apollo Milton Obote in 1966, Uganda started feeding on the wheels of militarism, including the 1967 Pigeonhole Constitution and the rule by decree introduced by Idi Amin Dada between 1971 to 1979. After the overthrow of President Idi Amin Dada, then came a 6-member military council in 1980. It was headed by Chairman Paulo Muwanga, deputized by Yoweri Museveni. Between 1981 to 1986, a guerrilla war paved way for President Yoweri Museveni, who later prepared Uganda to re-establish constitutionalism and the rule of law. 1995 was a turning year for Uganda, but before was a Constituent Assembly session chaired by James Wambogo Wapakabulo, the then Mbale District finest statesman, patriot, lawyer, politician. He died on 27th March 2004. As the Constitution makes 30 years in existence, I set out to trace how the legacy of the late James Wapakabulo continues to live on his family after his great contribution as the chairperson of the Constituent Assembly and later Speaker of Parliament. My journey took me to Mafudu village, Bukuro sub-county, current Sironko district, his final resting home.
Everyone has a taste.
Here, one of his sons, Moses Wambogo, was available to usher me in an environment coupled with quiet sounds, but loud with gentle whispering of leaves and birds.
This was the meeting place.
So this is a modernized meeting place?
Yes, this is a modernized meeting place, but now it acts like a reception. When you come, sign in, you get the details. Doesn't seem if the main man has died like when home the king dies, but this is, we have taken it to another level.
To preserve the home's dignity and sustainability, the family commercialized, turning it partly into an event venue.
Oh, I told you also, there are some people when they get married, they want to come and take photography in a natural environment. They come here. And
So this was also like this even during the time of the late?
Yes, it was big like this, but like these trees were there, the mango,
At 76, the widow, Angelina Chogo Wapakabulo, enjoys peaceful retirement, engaging in passion projects. She has profound memories of her husband.
As chair of the Constituent Assembly, I recall him waking up maybe around 3 or 4.
In the night?
Yes. And I would say, Daddy, where are you off to now? He would say, no, I'm going to the study. I have to be on top of this document. I need to understand it so that if questions are raised, I know what it's all about. So he definitely had a commitment to having that constitution done well, and being the chair, he wanted to make sure that he understood it.
Wapakabulo's legacy stands on pillars of education, anti-corruption, and constitutionalism. His political career began at the University of East Africa, now University of Dar es Salaam, where he and his future wife, Angelina Chogo, met the current Uganda's president, Yoweri Museveni.
If anything, I was probably his biggest critic, because he would know I would tell him the truth.
Angelina recalls that evening at the university, Wapakabulo and colleagues, Amanya Mushega, Iria Kategaya, David Anyoti, Osinde Wangor, Ben Wacha, and Museveni held nightly discussions about Uganda's political revolution.
This group of revolutionaries at the university, they also had their Sunday services. They had Sunday lectures, which were being held in the law faculty and being conducted by a number of lecturers. I remember Walter Rodney.
His children recall how their father encouraged them to return to Uganda when he joined politics.
Because we had visited Uganda during holidays, and you know, as a child, what matters to you is, can I go to a restaurant and get ice cream, or can I, you know, go and get a pizza? And we knew from our visits to Uganda that even getting bread was a challenge. So the family, my siblings were not very happy about it. I'll put it mildly.
After chairing the Constituent Assembly, Mzee Iwapa became Speaker of Parliament in 1996 and later appointed National Political Commissar in Uganda's no-party system. In 2001, he rose to second Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Foreign Affairs, also becoming the first minister from Bamaina clan.
In terms of parental guidance, he was very good. He was a parent who would sit with and take us through life. He's a person who tells us that you can become powerful without being corrupt. When you look around, there is a lot of corruption with impunity that I think would have made him sad, because he's a man who wouldn't have wished the country to go that direction.
He believed that he was truthful, he was honest, he was not corrupt, he was not deceitful, and therefore what he talks is from the right perspective and right judgment and for a common goal of all Ugandans, and if it is for the district, to develop the district. And that's why up to today, Masaba mourn him so much.
Wapakabulo, a Pan-Africanist, extended his legal expertise beyond Uganda as a legal officer in Papua New Guinea before returning home.
I think there was a much stronger opposition, and the caliber of the opposition was somewhat better, to put it mildly. And so you had what I would call serious intellectual discussions about principles. Yes.
And as a constitutional lawyer, he believed in it, that people should be able to have justice. So we learned that if Ugandans would tap in that kind of justice, constitutionalism, good governance, and what and so on, would now move forward.
Since his passing, several family members have served in government positions. James Wekesa has been the Director ICT at Operation Wealth Creation and a former presidential advisor on youth affairs. The widow, Mama Angelina, was Uganda's High Commissioner to Kenya, and daughter Josephine Wapakabulo, first Executive Director, Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC. The late Wapakabulo was instrumental in establishing the Cure Children's Hospital that treats more than 2,000 children suffering from spina bifida and hydrocephalus, a project that thrives on volunteer and donor support.
It's the one and only hospital, Central and East Africa, that does that.
His death in 2004 was widely mourned across the political strata. He opposed the removal of the term limits in the Constitution and was awarded the Nalubale Medal. He contributed to the struggle against guerrilla warfare. President Yoweri Museveni is constructing the Wapakabulo Memorial College of Nursing and Midwifery to recognize late Wapakabulo. It is in advanced stages.
We are very grateful to the President, Museveni as a person, for not forgetting that great contribution he made.
Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
Sent transport to the wrong person. Here's how to reverse it with MTN Mobile Money. Dial *165#. Select My Account. Select Initiate Reversal. You will see your last 3 transactions. Select the transaction you want to reverse. Enter your mobile money PIN and you'll get an SMS confirmation that the transaction has been blocked from being withdrawn. And that's it. Please note, only transactions that haven't been withdrawn can be reversed.
Step into a world of excellence, comfort, and pride with Royal Foam Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices. Our wide variety of mattresses include orthopedic, pillow top, spring mattresses suitable for institutions like hotels, and many others for home comfort. With every piece telling a story of royal excellence, our products are built with the highest quality materials made to last. Experience royalty with Royal Foam Furniture, proudly made in Uganda, so buy Uganda and build Uganda. Visit our showrooms at Ginger Road, Chambogo Junction, Bukoto Chisasi Road, and on Victoria Mall, Entebbe, on the first floor.
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. Come and discover our exclusive wellness club with packages that include a fully equipped gym, a rejuvenating sauna, steam bath, and a great sky blue swimming pool. For events, our state-of-art conference halls and versatile event spaces are perfect for hosting shows, wedding receptions, birthdays, and more. Come and enjoy our cinema hall and unisex saloon, all designed to meet your entertainment and grooming needs. Bring your family and let your kids splash around in our beautiful kids water park. We are located on Aroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Don't wait. Visit us on www.hotelconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
Coffee Spirit, Simba Gin. Coffee Spirit, Simba Gin. Check out the cup. SMS the code. Wamure virabo. Tulaga manyi. Karuka sita wabuza.
Masabu maji. Masabu maji.
We call it Masavu near Premier Distilleries. Simply buy Coffee Spirit or Simba Gin. Check under the cap, send the code to 6688 and stand a chance to win border borders, tuk-tuks, cash, airtime, flat screens, mobile phones and a grand prize of 50 million Uganda shillings. This promotion is valid for a limited time only. Terms and conditions apply. Alcohol is not for sale to persons under 18. Please drink responsibly.
Business news tonight. Uganda and Somalia are laying strategies geared at fostering trade and strengthening bilateral ties. With trade volumes between the two East African community countries valued at just over $4 million per annum, analysts say that this is only scratching the surface of the existing potential. This was observed at the opening of a two-day joint permanent commission in Kampala.
In his opening remarks, Vincent Bajide, the permanent secretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, highlighted the importance of tracking and reviewing the implementation status of the Memoranda of Understanding to ensure tangible results that benefit both countries.
Further, during this second session, a number of MOUs and agreements it is expected will be signed, and these include one on immigration management, another on education and sports, and one on bilateral labor agreements.
Hamza Adan Hadu, Somalia's permanent secretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, commended Uganda for its peace and security efforts in the Horn of Africa. He noted that, with Somalia now enjoying relative stability, the time is ripe to harness business and trade opportunities between the two nations.
It's very clear if there is a challenge, how we can, or a barrier, how we can reduce or remove. Also, there's many products that produced by Uganda companies, how they can bring to Somalia. And also Somalia has longest coastline. We have a fish, fresh seawater fish, how we can bring here. So it is a more collaboration, how we can work together, how we can strengthen our relationship.
When the first JPC was held in 2022, trade volumes between Uganda and Somalia stood at just over $500,000 per annum. Current statistics show that the figure has now risen to over $4 million, signaling steady progress in bilateral economic relations.
And from the time we did the JPC, I think our figures were less than $1 million before we did the JPC in 2022. We are now in around $4 million of trade in favor of Uganda. And the more we do these sort of events, the more we open up opportunities, because you will appreciate that our business community, there's a notion that because Somalia has had challenges, that the challenges are permanent. No, they're not permanent. Somalia has its stable spell and pockets of instability. By and large, many parts of the country are stable.
The Investment and Business Summit is being held under the theme Promoting Uganda-Somalia Partnership through Investment, Trade and Tourism, and Harnessing Opportunities in both countries.
That brings us to the end of the first edition of News Tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Let's catch you at 10 p.m. My name is Micheal Jordan Lukomwa with Elizabeth Nakakoni and the whole team. Bye-bye for now.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Uganda will celebrate her 63rd Independence Day anniversary on Thursday, the 9th of October, 2025. Independence Day commemorates the nation's freedom from British rule, which occurred on the 9th of October, 1962. This year, the celebrations will be held at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds under the theme 63 Years of Independence, a reason to double our efforts in sustaining a united and progressive nation. The event will be presided over by President Yoweri Museveni. UBC TV will relay the celebrations in real time.
According to the Uganda Bureau of Statistics Census Report of 2016, in Uganda, 12.4% of the population, about 4.5 million, live with a disability. Limited access to ICT and assistive technologies increases digital disparities, prompting UCOSAF's aim to promote digital inclusiveness for persons with disabilities. The ICT for People with Disability program aims to improve the accessibility of education and technology for persons with disabilities and promote their full and effective participation in society. UCOSAF is implementing this program through the creation and maintenance of an online observatory for persons with disabilities intended to link persons with disabilities with service providers and different programs that empower them, and provision of adaptive tools that enhance their quality of life through ICTs and digital skilling.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Good evening. You're most welcome to the program, a special edition coming your way this evening. It's a pleasure to be having your company, and every time you choose us, you make us proud, choosing a national broadcaster. Well, we have a special edition coming your way this very week as we prepare to celebrate the 63 years of Uganda having its independence. My name is Sandra Kahonde, bringing you the special edition, and we turn lights or focus